what can I say? For the people that say I'm negative, when I came on against Arsenal, we played well in parts. Woo! I just want to make them happy and say I think Emerson played like Cafu. I think we looked like prime AC Milan. It was an exceptional game, and I'm delighted that we gave them a 4-0 lead until we started to play, because we're the Harlem Globetrotters of football now. So brilliant. Then let's give Burnley a 5-0 lead, because we're better than Burnley.
Well, you never know. If we give Burnley a 5-0 lead and Ollie Skip comes on at left back, we might actually get it back this time against Burnley.
Listen, let's now talk seriously. I'm going to try and remain calm.
Brian,
Emerson
you do what you do.
Emerson cannot play at left back anymore. Promote Charlie Sayers. Play someone.
Forget Charlie Sayers. You saw Ollie Skip today. Ollie Skip earned that right to play next game.
Ollie Skip, whoever, he can't do it. The marking for Salah's goal, the first, the 1-0, was shambolic.
Yeah.
It was target practice for them in the first half. The ones that I'm really annoyed about, I've been speaking about it, Richard, I'm so annoyed with our midfield. So many times, I don't know if you two guys picked it up, they're on the counter-attack, and they are jogging back like they're on a warm-down.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful. It's absolutely unacceptable that this keeps happening. We can't find that midfield blend that we had at the start. It was a shambles in that first half, and we came out the second half and was exactly the same.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've been saying it for weeks now. Like, with the midfield underperforming week after week, no matter who he picks, whether it's Højbjerg, whether it's Bissouma, whether it's Bentancur, no matter who he picks, they're underperforming every week, right? So what does Giovanni Lo Celso have to do to get a game?
Do you know what? This was the other thing I was going to come at. How Kulusevski is, I don't even know what he's doing on the pitch, apart from just appearing randomly. What has Gio Lo Celso got to do to come on? Maddison came on and was horrific. Some of his passing was as sloppy as I've ever seen. What has Gio got to do to come on? And this game changed with the pigeon Richarlison.
Yeah, he was good.
Ran his socks off, did everything. I agree with Jory to a part that literally when we're 4-0 down, they said, right, that's it, let's just do what we want and play how we want. What I will say to Barnaby, though, which I kind of disagree with, when he mentioned that, does he reckon that the fans, Ange is running out of credit in the bank with the fans if we get off for a bad season? It's not just the fans, Barnaby. It's that man upstairs as well. Look at that man's record. Not one manager has seen out his contract. Only Pochettino has been given a contract extension. So it's not just us. Where I'm fully behind Ange. I am, like Ben, 1 billion% behind Ange all the way, and just hope he gets back. Don't think he will, but pray he does. But it ain't just on the fans if he's got credit in the bank, because when it comes to spending in the summer, if there's doubts right now, are they going to spend?
Yeah.
I think my point on that would be, I feel, and it might be wrong, I don't know what you think, Ben, I think that Levy always takes the decision when he feels the fans have turned.
And that's not what it should be. I mean, he should have enough about him to know footballing decisions when he sees one. And I always feel like the first sign of trouble, that's it, is when they get the chop, and that's when the fans start flaring up.
Ben, what I will say, Stan, you've been with me, when it happens when the heat goes on him. When Nuno did that sub against Manchester United and Levy out chance started, next day he's gone. When it started last season, obviously we were getting a new manager. It's when the heat goes off the manager and starts getting aimed at his direction.
Got it. Yeah.
The manager, that he pushes the button. And this is the thing. Like I said, I want Ange to see out his contract. I want Ange to be able to bring in his actual players and say, I want player A, B, and C, and get player A, B, and C. Not, oh, this is the cheap alternative, or this is a youngster. He wants player X, get player X. And let's see what Ange can do with his team, with his players, playing in the position and style of football he wants, and then we judge him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Brian. But back on the game, right?
Yeah.
Ange Postecoglou and Heung-min Son were speaking after the game. Both of them kind of saying the same things, saying we saw a lot better football from us back to our game than we saw in the last couple of away games. I mean, what are they watching?
Yeah, Ben, you know what? What's his name? Mickey van der Ven came out after Chelsea and said we come back stronger. And I was like, oh, Mickey. But Son has come and said we hold the defeat, we take the defeat, we've got to be there for the fight. Well, these last 4 games, you've said that, and you've not shown any of it. You've not shown a single thing. I don't understand why. There's just us 3 and the people watching right now. We could have run on that pitch and run through brick walls for the club, and run harder than that midfield and given more effort than Emerson. But we just see the same thing over and over again.
I actually think that's one of the reasons why, I certainly have, and Ben a little bit, have talked so much about that little Oliver Skip cameo, because more than the fact that he was able to pass it 5 yards, he actually made a sprint back when we lost the ball once that we didn't see another player do in the entire game. And it's just like, that should be minimum requirement.
Not even the entire game. Probably the entire last 3 or 4 games we haven't seen something like that. So you see someone sprinting back and actually trying to make an effort, and you're like, wow, what a performance.
Whereas in those first 10 games, I remember all of them as one were just sprinting back in bodies, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if we look at it as well, the last 4 games, what is it, 13 goals conceded. Emerson came as a substitute for Porro against Newcastle. So let's say 12 goals. He's been on that pit. When you've leaked 12 or you had that 14 goals in the last 4 games, surely as a manager, you're like, there's a problem with the defence.
Yeah.
I need to do something, because conceding 14 goals, no matter who you are, is unacceptable. There's got to be a chink in the armour. I've got to do something. And I would imagine Emerson Royale starts against Burnley again.
He can't do. Surely he can't. You saw against Chelsea what happened against Madueke. You saw today what happened with him. As soon as Ollie Skip comes on, you see us vastly improve, and he vastly improved that position on the football pitch. Surely Ollie Skip comes in at left back against Burnley.
I'll tell you what, if Ollie Skip, if Ollie Skip starts against Burnley, I will be the first one to go, do you know what, Ange, well goddamn done. You see the issue finally, and rather than saying we played the same way, you've tried to fix it. It may not work, but at least you've done something to try and fix the leaking ship.
Yeah, and I think on a base level as well, for Emerson Royale to be pulled off the pitch for Oliver Skip, a player who doesn't play in that position or even in a defensive position, that says a lot to him, I think, as well. Hopefully. Anyway, but look, I don't think Emerson Royale is a bad person, and I think he is actually one of the people who does try hard, but he is not a Premier League footballer.
Yeah.
Not.
Or, do you know what? He might be Barnaby, but unfortunately, he played well under Conte in patches. He can play. It's the system.
Yeah.
We've got too many players. I've said it before, Barnaby. At Tottenham Hotspur, you look at Liverpool. They get rid of managers. They follow the same philosophy. Like they've got Arne Slot coming in that will play the same football as Klopp. May not want the same players, but he's going to have an overload of attacking players to suit his play. We go from attacking to defensive, defensive to attacking, attacking to defensive, and then we have overload of completely the opposite style of players that we need. And Emerson just does not fit Postecoglou's system.
Yeah.
And we need players that come in on that substitute bench, and if players get injured, to come in that can slot into the system.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, that's another reason why I'd say, for those people who are kind of Ange out, I don't really know where you go next, because I think you do need to stick with somebody where the players that you're recruiting for is going to stick with that. And I know Yori said Pochettino, but I think I just think that's not a thing that Levy can do. I think if he wasn't going to get Pochettino last summer, then I can't see him going back for him anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, didn't want Pochettino back last season, especially under Levy, because the same thing would happen. Certainly don't want him back now. I'd rather, like Ben said, and like everyone will be saying, that Levy, for once in his miserable, pathetic life, actually backs the manager with what he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. None of this dilly-dallying and let's haggle over a few million here and there. Give the manager what he wants to play how he needs, and let's see what happens. And do you know what, Levy? If you actually start doing that, people like myself might actually say, well done, keep it going.
You've got to assume that he will, actually, because if you think about the stuff that Postecoglou has come out in the press and said about how he'd rather buy two £50 million players than £100 million players. That kind of stuff is, he's surely the dream manager for Levy on that front.
Yeah.
You would hope so, but like I said, funnily enough, Barnaby, I've heard this crap before, and I don't believe it. As soon as Levy's lips move, he's lying to me. And he has now got to prove to me that or just people that do not trust him, that he's trying to change. And like when we're talking about, Joey said with Arteta and the money, Arteta also said to his two highest earners, Aubameyang and Ozil, get them out of the squad, rip their contracts up, get them out. They're not going to work. They did it. If it was just saying our two highest earners, let's say Son and whoever's the second one, could you see, not that Ange will or should, yeah, fuck him. But I'm talking about actual players at the club that will play. If not that he will, not that he should, and I'm not saying we should rip his contract up, but if Ange Postecoglou went and said, I want to rip up Son's contract and the second highest earners, I want them out of the squad, will Levy do that?
Yeah, most likely not. But I mean, the two highest earners, I think, beginning of the season was, the three was Ndombele, Son, and Perisic, and two of them aren't here anymore.
And Kane.
And Kane.
Yeah.
But Brian, I kind of agree with you in most of the stuff you said. The hardest thing to take isn't the losses. The hardest thing is to take is the application that the players are showing on the pitch and
100%.
the half-assed nature of what you were saying about the midfielders tracking back and basically not looking like they give a shit on that football pitch. That's the hardest thing for me to take. But Brian, thank you for coming on today, mate.
Top man, Brian.
Always a pleasure. Speak to you later. Leave you out.